Hey, hi, hello. I'm Lisa Michelle, and this is Rare Pairs, the podcast where I randomly select two characters from a pop culture fandom and then do my very best to get creative and try to convince you, as well as myself, that they would make a great pair. Each episode, I will do two different ships, and at the end, I will leave it to the listener to decide which you believe made the better rare pair. Tweet your choices at Rare Pairs Pod, or if you have a diatribe to send, you can email the pod at rarepairspod@gmail.com. Also, as per always, there is a video component to this episode. If you'd rather watch on YouTube, please feel free to go ahead. I'll also be posting some clips on TikTok as well as Instagram Reels. It's the real who's who of social media these days. So do whatever floats your boat, my dude. All right, we've hit the adminning. Now let's jump into today's fandom because it is my personal favorite, Lord of the Rings. I am a massive Lord of the Rings fan. I actually started off watching the movies and didn't read the books for a while because I was so in love with what Peter Jackson did. I was actually worried about maybe viewing them differently after reading the books. So I've read the books now, I've read The Hobbit, seen the Hobbit movies, which, a little bit more bad than good, but that's here nor there because I am thrilled to have any bit of this world that we can get. And yes, that also includes Rings of Power, which I know is a controversial hot button topic in this fandom. And with that, I would like to make it extremely clear that there is zero room for hate on this podcast. So if you happen to have had a problem with a black elf in Middle Earth, this is not the space for you. And I would hope that anyone listening to this are sending kudos to those actors rather than trying to tear them down based off of bigoted beliefs. Okay? Okay. And now on to the fun stuff. So with each pairing, I've created 3 categories to help us judge each pairing, really flesh out if they could work or not. The first category is vibe check, and that just means their current compatibility in canon. Second category is aesthetics. Would they make a cute couple? Because of course, that is what I'm really here to talk about. And 3 is my personal favorite category, alternate universe. The category where I do my absolute best to create a love story as to how these pairings would get together. Sweet. So I'm going to go in and select my first name for the first ship. Samwise Gamgee. Oh, that's good. That's a good one. Okay. Second name. So our first pairing is Samwise Gamgee and Treebeard. Okay. Category 1, vibe check. So their current compatibility in canon. Okay, thinking of similarities, you know what they both love? The outdoors. They love a garden. Ooh, they both love a garden. They both love to help things grow. Ooh, okay. You know what's interesting? They're both caretakers of the plots of nature that are around them. So Sam in the Shire, he's a gardener. That is literally his job. He works for Frodo. And he clearly has a really big appreciation, similar to most hobbits, of the things you can grow yourself from the ground and tending to life. Treebeard is the shepherd of Fangorn Forest. So wonderfully, he actually does the same thing. He's checking out Fangorn and making sure everything is going the way that it should be and making sure that the trees are rested, that they're growing, that they're digging deep into the root and thriving. And we know that now Treebeard knows what hobbits are, so that's already a win for when Sam meets him. He's aware that he's not a small orc, so Pippin and Merry did some legwork for this OTP. He's already starting off with a pretty high opinion on hobbits. That's good. They both could exchange some gardening wisdom. Treebeard could actually teach him a lot. Also, he probably has an experience on a lot of things that might grow in the Shire. So Sam could likewise teach him different things. That's kind of cute. Sam and Tree. Category 2, aesthetics. Would they make a cute pair? Well, we know Treebeard can carry a hobbit around. So he could carry Sam around. Sam kind of resting, telling him stories, maybe. We know Sam does love to tell a tale, so I could see them walking around the forest. Actually, that would be really cute. I don't know if we're hitting romantic vibes, given that one is made of bark, but But I think visually they would be pretty sweet if you just showed Sam kind of lounging on Treebeard's shoulder. So on her ice cube to ghost pepper hotness scale of a couple, I would give them room temperature tap water. It's not frigid. It's more of a but it's definitely not hot. It's not spicy, like lukewarm pond water. That suits them. Jumping into category 3, alternate universe. How would Sam and Treebeard get together? Okay, let's say we are post Return of the King now, and the hobbits are actually headed back to the Shire. And during this time, just imagine how much they would all have to catch each other up on. Like, there's so many stories that each side would have to tell the other and be like, you'll never believe what we went through. Oh, you'll never believe what we went through. So as they're headed back, Merry and Pip are like, oh, you would love our guy Treebeard. We met in Ent. Yeah, a talking tree. And Sam is like, a talking tree? Oh my days, that is exciting. So they do a little detour to the cleanup of Fangorn Forest and they meet Treebeard. Okay, so they're in Fangorn now, and Treebeard meets Sam and Frodo, and Sam immediately has 100 questions because he loves the outdoors. He loves to garden. So as they're walking through Fangorn, and Sam and Treebeard are having a great time. They're having a great time talking because Sam wants to learn everything. And let's be honest, after all of the traumatic events that he just went through, I kind of think Sam wouldn't mind talking to a being that is a bit more slow paced, a bit more thoughtful of every word that he says compared to the absolute shit show of being around Gollum for weeks. Honestly, Treebeard would probably be a very welcomed companion. So the 4 hobbits and Treebeard at the end, they part, they're going their separate ways. And Sam's just like, oh, that was lovely. And Treebeard at this point, I feel that he would be very warm towards the hobbits in general after his personal experience with Merry and Pippin. And I would think that Sam was asking him more personal questions about nature and his relationship with the other trees and the forest. That would really speak to him. So now, flash forward, they're all back home, and it's that kind of restless period where you just went on this insane adventure for a year, and then now you're back where you started, back at the Green Dragon. And I could see Sam almost being too done with all of the people. I feel like he had his complete fill of society and strangers and people. Maybe he's looking for a even quieter pace. Yes, the hobbits live a very quiet and like slower life, but maybe he just needs a break from that as well. Not forever, just a break. And he remembers his good old friend Treebeard. So then when Frodo is going to be on his way to go to the Undying Lands, let's say Sam hitches a ride, okay? Get him half the way. And then Sam's like, you know what, Mr. Frodo, like you gave me the book. I'm going to go on my adventure now. And that for him is, okay, I'm going to go hang out with the Ents for a bit. And they're walking around and enjoying each other's company under, the dappled sunlight from the trees. Oh, okay. I want someone to draw this so badly. Treebeard is walking. Sam is on his shoulder, leaned back, and he has the book and he's writing his story. And the story is what he's learning through the Ents and nature and helping rebuild life after all of the traumatic events of the previous year. And I just think they developed this really beautiful relationship together. Someone please write the fan fiction. Someone please draw the picture of Sam and Treebeard. I think Sam and Treebeard are my new comfort OTP. They just want to help things grow. Wow, that was just so moving, wasn't it? I have chills. I am now reaching into my bowl of names to pick the first character of our second pairing, Saruman. Jesus, starting off with a real kick here, aren't we? Picking the second name, Thorin Oakenshield. So the second pairing I have to make sense is Thorin Oakenshield and Saruman. I feel like this is what's happening now. My first one is too much of a wholesome couple, so the second one has to be just absolutely unhinged. Thorin and Saruman. Okay. First category is vibe check. Okay, so similarities is that both of them are extremely strong-headed. I think that their ideals when they overlap in canon are so insanely different. However, they both operate at this similar level of intensity. You know what I mean? As in both of them are unstoppable, and if people disagree, they come back with aggression. Yeah, both of them react to people not loving what they're doing in very similar ways. Remember, Saruman literally had a throwdown with Gandalf and then just threw him on top of the tower for a while. And Thorin was just such a douche to Bilbo, as well as the elves. Man, he can hold a grudge. Okay, so vibe check is that we have two tough cookies. That's really what's happening here. Category 2, aesthetics. Would they make a cute couple? I am picturing them as that couple where everyone's having a grand old time, and then there's the couple who are just sort of standing arms crossed, judging everyone else and like kind of talking shit to each other. I think that would be their vibe. So it's very like, ooh, edgy, so dark, so dangerous. Yeah, I think I'm kind of into it. On our ice cube to ghost pepper hotness scale, if they're out there serving the talking shit, hot, mysterious couple, that is honestly pretty good. I would give that a smoky whiskey, you know, once there's a little burn on the back of your throat, it's a slow sipper. Okay, let that marinate for a little bit. That's where they would be. Yeah, that'd be good. I kind of love the idea of their energy together. All right, our third category, alternate universe. How would Thorin and Saruman get together? I really don't make this game easy for myself, do I? Okay, so rewriting history. Let's say this is when they are all at Rivendell at the same time, and Thorin and company don't escape early while Gandalf is talking to Galadriel and Elrond and Saruman. Okay, let's say that Gandalf is going to depart from the dwarves because he's going to check out the whole necromancy situation that's going on. And in steps Saruman as the wizard of their company. So he's keeping an annoyingly close eye on Thorin and company as they go. And Thorin is just so grumbly about it. He's like, we don't need you. But as they're going on this trek, he's noticing that unlike Gandalf, Saruman is a lot more to the point and he's not dancing around his words as much as Gandalf does. And Thorin, who's so almost intensely straightforward, I feel like he would kind of vibe. Both of them would be suspicious about Bilbo, and I could see them kind of being the petty duo in the company as they are trekking along the way. So while they are all trekking, one of the knights, Thorin is like, I'll stay up, be the guard, because of course he would. And everyone's like, okay, good night. And you know who else is awake? You know who else is awake and not in his bedroll? Saruman. He comes over, sits next to Thorin. I imagine them on a boulder. They're sitting next to each other and they're looking out at all the stars. And that's the first time their energy changes from being like snarky and very biting back and forth. There's less of a guard up because also, let's say it's like midnight. The moon is high, the stars are out. And this is where the ice cracks for them. I feel like this is where it really cracks because, you know, they're both being vulnerable. Also, obviously, armor is off. Thorin's doesn't have his massive jacket and furs on. He's wearing his navy blue tunic and they're bonding. I like to imagine that we get some kind of background on Saruman here because we get Thorin's tale. And I feel like Saruman would already know what Thorin's background history would be. So I imagine this is where maybe we get a little bit of background on Saruman. And then Thorin sees him for the first time as less of almost like a wizard kind of god level and sees him more as a man. From there, I feel like first it's more of like a little bit of an interest lust from Thorin's side. Saruman's catching the vibe, but for him, it's more so he's just less on the defense. He's not like, oh, look at this smoking oaken. It's more so like, I don't need to insult you and your whole race at this current time. Which, let's be real, that's a lot of growth for them. Then I imagine a lot of pining from Thorin's end, and it would go from there. Potentially, it could be when Thorin is going into like a really dark space from all of the dragon sickness in the Lonely Mountain, and Sauron's the only one who can kind of shake him out of it, but he uses more force. Bilbo did the sneaky route. I think think that Saruman would have been in his face and fully shake him out of it, maybe use some of his wizarding powers just to help him get some clarity. Then Thorin is so thankful. And then they embrace, and then they murder Smaug together, and the mountain is reclaimed happily ever after. But that's just a rough draft. Who's to say? Rivals to lovers, am I right? Now that we've heard from these two very, let's just say, different ships, I want to help inform the listener's decision even more. So what I will do is look up on Archive of Our Own, AO3, home of all fanfiction, and see if these pairings have ever been written before. And if they have, I will read the title and blurb of the most popular one that pops up. My gut is telling me that none of these have been written before, but if I was to pick one over the other, I could see someone doing Thorin, I think, and Saruman, just since they were in the exact same place at the same time. But I guess we'll find out together, won't we? Yeah, alas, poor Yoke, nothing came up for Sam and Treebeard. And unsurprisingly, the number one that comes up is Frodo and Sam. Yeah, that tracks. Oh, and also Sam and Legolas is pretty well up there too. Sounds like a rare pair for another day, folks. And on to our moody boyfriends. Yep, none there. And of course, the most searched one for Thorin is Thorin and Bilbo, which I love that ship so much. All right, well, there you have it. On one hand, we have the very earthy couple of Samwise Gamgee and Treebeard, and on the other hand, we have our moody boyfriends Thorin and Saruman. Send your choice in to Rare Pairs Pod, and thank you so much for listening to today's episode. You can find the pod on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and anywhere that pods are cast. And if you enjoyed, please rate, review, and subscribe to help the pod grow. Share the pod with your friends, foes, and the local gardener who you see at all of your farmers markets, but you're too scared to talk to. All right, until next time, stay safe and happy shipping. Bye!